This one has a lot of hair. This one has a normal amount of hair. It's Pat and Alex. This one was born in Raytown. This one lives in Raytown. They opened a store in the pandemic, and this is a show about it. Hustle and bustle, hustle and bustle, hustle and bustle. Here is the show.
Hello and welcome back to Hustle and Bustle. I'm Pat.
I'm Alex.
Happy Thanksgiving. It is 2 days after. It's hard to keep track in the holidays. The dates kind of start slurring.
Yeah. We had like 2 Thanksgiving dinners. So for me it was
same day, different day.
Different days.
Okay.
Thursday, Friday. So it was like a 48-hour Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
It was rough.
Yeah.
On the old colon.
Yeah, we'll wait till you get a little older. When you start getting married, you're going to have like 9 of them. How did you enjoy your Thanksgiving?
It was really good. So Thursday, on actual Thanksgiving Day, we drove up to Columbia, just my family, and met my grandpa there.
That's awesome.
Thanksgiving at his house. His tiny kitchen.
He's still at his house.
Yeah.
That's
great. Still at his house. He's getting old.
Yeah.
So it was nice to have Thanksgiving with him. And then Friday, we had dinner at my other grandparents' house, just in Prairie Village.
Yep.
And my mom's brother and his family, so my aunts and uncles and nephews, came over or drove up from Texas and had dinner. So it was cool.
Their backyard looks like a jungle night, like in the warm months, because your grandfather is a expert botanist.
Yeah. I was asking him a little bit about what his plans are next year, and he's going like all in on flowers. He used to have like 80% vegetables and food, and then now it's like the other way. It's 80% flowers and decorative bushes and wild plants, and then he's got like a tiny corner with lettuce and.
What does it look like in the fall?
There's a lot of dirt and compost and hay everywhere.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty barren.
I was hoping for like a pumpkin patch or something.
No. I said maybe he's getting old too.
Yeah,
that's why it's probably going to flowers.
Pumpkins are heavy
and not a vegetable garden.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, let's dive into some announcements here. We've got our music lineup set for Midnight Madness, baby. Mm-hmm. Very exciting. So Circle Drive has joined us. They're our third band. They're a female-led rock band here in Kansas City. We've yet to see them play, so I'm super excited about that. All 3 of these people we haven't really seen play live yet. They're going to be joining Fight Dream and the Royal Chief. The Royal Chief I've been a big fan of for a long time. These are 3 great bands and a little bit different, I would say.
Yeah, there's definitely a mixture.
Yeah. So it's a flight. It's a flight of live music for you. Take a sip of each taste. Hopefully there's something that you enjoy, and I think that there's definitely some badass music. So that's very exciting. Midnight Madness is coming up February 3rd. Be here sooner than you know.
Yeah. It does for us, that's for sure.
Just on the back end of the holidays, we're going to be smacking this in your face every 2 seconds. Midnight Madness is going to be a lot of fun. This weekend, we have a Christmas sale starting today. Small Business Saturday. We were closed Black Friday.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts now? I mean, you still feel good about that?
Yeah, I feel like it came back a little more in the small business world this year.
Okay, me too.
I saw a lot more businesses promoting like little in-store sales. Mm-hmm. I guess that's cool. I don't know. We were closed last year, and I was definitely okay with that. This year I had a little bit of FOMO, but I'm totally still cool with us closing.
I would agree 100%. Jen and I actually got out and did a little shopping yesterday. Like, I hit more stores. I can't shop for more than an hour and a half or I start to explode.
Yeah.
And we shopped, took a break, shopped again.
Wow.
Yeah, it was wild. But there were a lot of people out and about. So,
that's what.
So I had a tiny bit of FOMO, but also, not enough to make me regret being closed yesterday.
My little cousins, they all went to Oak Park and went to the Lego store and got some Legos. And they said it was crazy busy. And my dad, so he works at Nebraska Furniture Mart, and on Black Friday they make all the employees like work the floor because it's just like all hands on deck. And normally there's like huge rush at like 8 till noon, and then it will kind of die down. He said it was huge rush, and then it's just a constant flow of people till when he left at 4.
Isn't it wild? Where's this recession? Everybody keeps talking about this recession.
Jerome Powell's got to be fucking fuming in his chair.
Where's my recession? I want one. Anyways, yep, that's happening. So Christmas sale, we're doing it this weekend, starting today. Small Business Saturday, we're back. We need our Black Friday and our Small Business Saturday today. Mm-hmm. But the way it's going to work is, how many days is it till Christmas? That's the % off you get if you come in an early hustle and mention this ad.
Yeah, this is a special for you, podcast listeners only.
Yeah. Podcast listeners only. So you say, hey, man, I listened to Hussle and Bustle. You're going to get the percent off. If it's 14 days till Christmas, you get 14% off. If it's 26 days till Christmas, you get 26% off. And we're giving it to you because there's like 8 of you, and we can afford to do that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So come on in and cash in this great coupon.
And you can do it every day. Come in every day.
The verbal coupon. Can you imagine the savings? Wow.
We can.
Yeah, absolutely. Plus, we get to talk to us, so that'd be fun. Holiday lighting is coming up December 1st. It is Friday. It's next Friday.
Yeah.
Holiday lighting is a really cool event in downtown Raytown. I don't think there are a lot of community events like this anymore. Basically, there are hundreds of people that show up. I'd say 100, 200. The first 150 get a free gift, so there's got to be at least a couple hundred.
Yeah.
And Santa rides in on a fire truck. Santa's the mayor. And then he gets out and then he lights all of downtown Raytown's Christmas trees, which might be a little anticlimactic. You know, it's not Tech 9.
Yeah, it's not the plaza.
At the plaza, but it's pretty cool. And then everybody gets to go get a picture with Santa, the mayor, and get a free gift. So, and there's like hot chocolate, and it's just a cool event, and it's 100% free to the public if you're in. I don't know if you have to be in Raytown. I think you just have to come.
No one's
that
checking
day.
IDs.
Like,
yeah.
there's no Raytown passport you have to have. So come on in.
Come on in.
Yep, that's Friday. So we're promoting that. This is put on by Raytown Main Street, which is a really great community organization of which we're a part. And then the other thing I had to add was sad days. Blue Steel is closing across the street.
Yeah, news to me 5 minutes ago.
So look, this is all secondhand news from a little birdie on my shoulder who's related to me, who comes in here from time to time. But it just sounds like they've had some regulatory issues, and so they're being shut down. Yeah, and it's, I guess, if you listen to my birdie, regulation has changed since the current president has been in office, and they've gotten a little stricter on some things, and Blue Steel is going to be a victim in that narrative. So I have no idea. All I know is they seem to be fucking busy all the time.
Yeah.
And they seem like great people, and they seem like an upstanding business in Raytown.
Never heard anything bad.
So I think it fucking blows that they're closing. And I have no idea. Maybe I shouldn't even spread the rumor, but, you know, it is a podcast, I guess, you know. So
You can spread the rumor.
It's all been qualified that my crazy uncle may be full of shit. I don't know. But that's the word on the street.
This is his area of expertise.
He frequents the joint, let's just say. So, you know, it's sad. Hopefully they'll reopen at some point. I don't know what's going on, but I just know that they're a thriving business that definitely brings people to downtown Raytown.
Yeah, that's for certain. I see they have many regulars, and some of them spill over into our store. So I appreciate that.
And they also just got robbed, like, within the last few months, right?
Yeah,
Like, what is
pretty
it?
big robbery.
6 months or whatever. Somebody
during
drove
the
a fucking
summer.
car through their building.
Yeah.
Then they fix all that, and then they have to go, you know, shut down. That just really blows. So, anyways, hopefully that they get back up and running as a business. Around the water cooler, we talked about Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. I put out a reel. My Thanksgiving treat is the leftover. That is, without question, my favorite thing. And, like, you have to elbow for leftovers. Like, we almost walked out without leftovers yesterday.
Whoa.
And that was about to be a grave mistake.
Yeah, you come with containers.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you don't tell people, though. Just when everything's food, you just pull them out. Whoa, where'd these come from?
Yeah.
Pull them up.
That's like, I'm kind of waiting until we get to start hosting holidays, because, like, the benefit is you just get the leftovers.
Yeah.
By default, they're yours unless someone else takes them.
That's true.
So, Thanksgiving was great for me. I loved having a break. Watched a lot of I caught up on some things.
Yeah.
All right? So, Squid Game.
Okay.
So now I've taken over our Christmas party. We're also having it this Friday night, and it is now Squid Game themed, because I never watched Squid Game. Did you watch Squid Game?
I didn't.
All right. So it went viral.
Yeah.
And this is a reality show version of it that has come out, and I know somebody on it. So Stephen Lomas is a Kansas City, and he's from Raytown, and then I think he transferred to Park Hill at some point in high school, but him and Keenan went to school for a while, and he plays for the Kansas City Blues, which is a rugby team, and used to play against them. He's played at Midnight Madness last year and the year before. They won it last year. Look out for a reel coming with some Midnight Madness content from number 243 from Squid Game. But anyways, this is the #1 show in America on Netflix. He is a star in it.
Yeah.
One of the lead characters.
He's like in the scope.
This is the first time I've ever had this happen, that I know somebody on a reality show.
It's kind of cool.
It's exciting. So I am waiting for the new episodes to come out, and our Christmas theme is going to now be Squid Game based. So it's going to be fantastic.
I'm excited.
This means nothing to you because you don't know anything about it, but I'm confident you're going to love it.
I've followed enough of like the pop culture to get a good grasp, and I've seen a few of the games or activities or whatever they are.
Yeah.
But if it's anything like past store activities or games, Carolyn and I will come in last.
It's been a while since we've really competed, but yeah, they've always been fun. So I'm watching this guy. It's just wild watching somebody I know on TV, and I'm rooting for him.
Oh wait, it's already out?
It's on Netflix right now. It's the #1 show in America on Netflix.
Okay.
So you can watch it.
Interesting.
It's really great. So I encourage you to do that. Kansas City. Nice guy, Steven.
Yeah, Caroline watches. They got a family TikTok channel.
Dude, all right. So they have 3 TikToks. All right. What am I doing dovetailing away from this? There's so much more to
there's a lot.
There's a lot in this onion. So Steven owns a business called Let's Get Moving, which is a moving company, and they have owned it for years. Him and a handful of dudes on the Blues, Blakeston and Chase, who went on to the show.
A lot of rugby players, yeah.
So Steven and what the fuck is his name? Chase went on this show, and they're good buddies. They're both part of this Let's Get Moving company, and this, let's call it an Instagram consortium. Influencer consortium here in Kansas City, and they went on the show. Chase got eliminated first episode. Spoiler alert. It happens pretty quick, so I don't think that's going to ruin anyone watching if you haven't yet.
Okay.
Steven is a main character though. So they all have this Let's Get Moving company, and best I can gather, they get really famous from creating content moving, and they're all very good-looking, young, fit guys.
Yeah, big butts, big quads. They're rugby players.
So they lean into the
hunks moving your house.
Moving shit, moving junk, and they have Steven has the Let's Get Moving account, which is like a couple 100,000, his own personal account, which is a couple 100,000, and then his family personal account, which is the one you said your wife or Caroline follows. And they're all 3 distinctly different channels.
Yeah, very different.
Let's Get Moving is pretty sexy, right? Like it's promotion for OnlyFans because they all have an OnlyFans.
Yeah.
So Instagram is like where they put their sexiest content to try to lure you onto OnlyFans for the paid content.
Yeah.
Then the family content's just good, wholesome family content.
Yeah, Caroline had no idea of the Instagram, and I showed her pictures of like him in his underwear, like posing, and she was like, "Oh my god!"
Oh, really? She just was literally following the wholesome family.
It's such
stream.
a contrast, from the other account.
Yeah. And then there's the middle account. It's like a Casey Boys account. It looks like they're starting to build some kind of media brand, podcasting, doing stuff, and they've put the moving business on the shelf. So they retired the moving business this summer because presumably they're making so much fucking money out of selling sexy moving calendars and OnlyFans and
also really fucking hard.
This other content that and who wants to do it that they don't need to do it anymore. So anyways, it's just a wild concept, and I want to get them on to talk about it.
Yeah,
all of them. Because,
lots of questions.
This is a Kansas City company that's going through some weird twists and turns, but it's really neat. I think.
Yeah.
Do you have any opinions on?
Just like excitement, because I'd seen him from so many different angles, and then we connected all the dots when we were in the living room.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, that's the dude from the Squid Games commercial, from Caroline's reels, from the rugby games I attend.
Yeah,
and then
it's funny.
It was like all at once. I was like, oh.
It's fun. I've known the guy for over 10 years. You know what I mean? He started playing for our rugby club right out of high. It's just wild. Yeah, and he's huge now. It's bananas, and it just happens. And I remember last year Midnight Madness, because they put in a team, Let's Get Moving, this company. They called themselves the LGM Queens 2 years ago as a company. And then this last year, I was hitting him up. I was like, hey, you guys going to put a team in? He's like, I don't know. I got this reality show thing I might have to be away from.
Oh, shit. I remember him
Or
saying
he
that
couldn't
now.
tell me it was a reality show, but Keenan had told us it was a reality show because he had signed an NDA, so he was being squeamish about it. But Keenan was like, it's because of this reality
I remember
show.
that conversation now.
So I don't know if it was right before he was going to Squid Games or he'd come back or whatever the fuck it was.
Shit.
But yeah, anyway, it's a wild world and it's exciting and I think it's cool. And even though I don't know Steven well, I'll say that watching him in that show made me like him even more. You know what I mean? I've known Steven, but not.
See, now it's creepy because I don't think he would. Well, I mean, he went to our tournament, so he probably knows who I am. But now,
he definitely knows who you are.
Now I'm gonna know him way more than he knows me.
Yeah. Well, that's his whole life. Imagine that. Right?
I know.
A week ago, he wasn't on
crazy.
Netflix. Now he is.
Yeah.
I'm just interested in 6 months from now, freeze this moment. Mm-hmm. What is that like? Just seems
true.
like a
because they seem to be able
concept.
to capitalize on whatever the world gives them pretty well. So you give them Netflix.
Yeah, right.
Let's see what
Fucking
happens.
run with that shit. All right, so there's that. Daniel Tosh is back with a show.
Yeah. Okay. So I enjoyed Daniel Tosh, like the grade school, high school, whenever Tosh.0. It was on forever. I don't know how many seasons they had, but it felt like forever. And I liked his stand-up. I think he had some pretty funny specials.
And he was very risque, right? Like he went up to the line of political correctness, crossed it all the time.
Yeah.
Which is what comedy, that's a large part of comedy.
Yeah.
But I felt like when all the cancellations kind of stopped, he was not producing content. But had he been, he would have been like
probably
in the mix.
So it's almost as if his disappearance from the comedy world was very well timed.
Yeah.
But anyway, he's back with a show called Tosh Show, which makes me uncomfortable to say. I don't like the sh and sh being next to each other. But his first episode, he had his wife's gynecologist on.
Oh my God.
It's pretty fucking funny.
That is a very Tom Segura move.
Yeah. It's good. It's like a little bit of a combination of Tosh.0. So like he does a couple internet video clips, and it seems like it's scripted. Weird, like the first like intro bit, but like he's a comedian writer, so like maybe that makes sense. And then there was like a 30-minute like podcast interview, and then like a little outro. So it's like kind of well produced, which is cool. And yeah, I think it's going to be a hit. I just looked; it has like over 1 million views, and his second one is like crossed up 500,000.
Oh yeah.
So
where is it on? Where does
YouTube?
it?
And I'm sure
just YouTube.
Well, I watched on you. I discovered it on YouTube, but I'm sure it's on the other podcast platforms.
Yeah. But he did it. I mean, it seems like he did it independently. He didn't like cut a deal with Spotify to get money to release it.
And so he opens with like a lot of people asked me what happened with Comedy Central. They gave me a fat bag of money to stop working for them, and I accepted it. And
why did they do that?
Comedy. So I don't really know. I've just kind of heard bits and pieces from other comedians talk about it. I think it was like a new producer kind of got in, and they like went through a whole cut that show, keep that show.
And so they had to like pay him some kind of severance to not make the show?
Because he like would get these weird like 4-year extensions instead of like year by year or whatever. And I think he was in the middle of one of those, and they were like, we're gonna ask you, here's the money for the rest of your contract. And then I don't know, whatever the contract is, maybe there's a cancellation fee too.
Yeah.
But yeah, then he just went silent, no specials or anything. But now he's back, and it's funny, and he still just has probably like crossing the line sometimes.
100%. Yeah,
it's good that he like didn't change, but he's a little bit older, which is kind of weird.
Well, have a look out for that. And then the only thing I've written down here is Elon Musk.
Yeah,
and I don't have like I don't have like a giant thing, but he's in trouble for anti-Semitism again. This is like the second time in a couple of weeks that he's apparently said something that's anti-Semitic or liked or shared something that's anti-Semitic. And it just is blowing my mind. Because, like, when we first started podcasting, this was a person who was a lightning rod that, like, we had to not talk about because it would get emotional and angry. And this is just like an Elon check-in. Like,
well, okay, yeah, I'm glad that's how this is phrased. Because I think I'm ready to say that it's hard to, I think he's a, what's the word I'm looking for? A cumulative negative.
Yeah. A net negative.
Net negative, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the word. He's just, he's got some demons, and he's got a lot of power, which is terrifying.
That seems to me to be the number one. And we both now listen to Scott Galloway, which when we used to, he's a very anti-Elon guy, like maybe the most anti-Elon guy.
I still listen to a lot of podcasts that revere him.
And I just walked into Barnes & Noble last night, which is one of probably the 700th store we went to on our shopping extravaganza. And I was, happened upon his face, and I was like, my God, there are people who would still buy this book. Like, it's front and center at Barnes & Noble, and I know every motherfucker that works here walks past it and hates that person. You know what I mean? Like,
that's true.
If you wear masks still, you don't like Elon, and you probably work at Barnes & Noble. Yeah. Like, this is a circle.
That Venn diagram is a circle.
Yeah. So it just blows my mind, and I'm just... I've hated him for a long time, mostly for like some really biased views of my own that I don't care to share because I don't want to get canceled. But also just like he just seems like the perfect example of somebody who literally thinks that they shit gold, right? Like everything I do, I've been told at this point that everything I do is awesome, to where it's impossible for him to have a realistic, accurate worldview of his own opinion.
Yeah. No, that's for certain. And you add. Yeah, it is such a strange mix of fame and like ability to do shit. Like most people who are that famous. Like Kanye West was probably one of the higher mixtures of fame and still for some reason doing expensive big deals, but like too crazy, you know.
Yeah.
He fell off. Like I don't know. It is weird. It's a weird mixture of fame and power, and it's a terrifying mixture.
And that's because right, if you in my worldview currently is that like since the New Deal, we have been, and definitely since the 80s, we've been ratcheting towards polarization in money in the country, right? The rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer. The what do they call it? The wealth divide or the income inequality.
Income gap.
Income inequality is, no matter who you talk, like it seems like no one would argue with us that that's getting worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
And I would say that power inequality is the same thing, right? Like not even to get into the politics, but you look at like, has anybody ever controlled a political party the way that Donald Trump seems to have control over the Republican Party?
Yeah. No.
Has anybody ever been able to just turn off Wi-Fi for soldiers who need it to like shoot bullets in the middle of a war like Elon can?
Yeah.
It just seems wild to me that like Xi Jinping probably has to have one of the most concentrated amounts of power any one human being has ever had in the history of time.
That's true. Yeah, like that.
Even Genghis Khan, if he decided something, it took a month for it to get out to the outer reaches of his empire and for it to happen.
Yeah, she could have you killed yesterday.
Right. Like, if Genghis Khan wanted to kill me and I was on the outer reach of his empire, it would be a game of telephone.
You'd probably die of old age.
Before it ever got to me, or they'd kill somebody else. But Xi Jinping can just have it happen.
It is. It's
terrifying how much power is funneling to the top. Anyways, and Elon just seems to be like the personification. I just wanted to check in with you. What about your brother? Because I know your brother was probably a bit bigger Elon fan.
He's a bit more like I think he's definitely still listens to because he loves rockets.
Right.
He loves space and astronomy, and so like he's a big SpaceX follower. So I don't think he's ever going to lose that.
Right.
But yeah, he definitely doesn't like talk about him anymore.
Yeah.
And like when we bring him up, it's purely probably like based on past things. I don't know. Yeah, he's definitely he gets it. Yeah. I think he understands who he is, and he's like, I wish a lot of things were different about him.
I think the most perverse thing is that like because you're amazing at rockets or whatever, like Elon's amazing at these certain things, but we take this and mean, well, then that must mean he's amazing at all things, or he must have some general amazingness or some general brilliance from which we can all take. All right, well, he's great at rockets. I revere him for that. And I'm reducing this way bad. I'm not trying to make this about your brother, but we all do this in society, right?
Yeah.
Like, well, what does he do? Well, the 7 daily habits of successful people. Oh, okay, then I've got to get up at 4:30. That's how I'll be brilliant at rockets. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That somehow because you're great at something, then if we follow that, we'll be able to be the other things. It adds virtue or gives credit or value to the other things that you do.
It's on a spectrum. If you look at it as I want to learn from somebody, there's a spectrum of like Jesus, who is like, can't do wrong. No one can get mad at you from learning from Jesus. And then Hitler. And like as you do bad things, you slowly move along this spectrum, and at some point you cross a line where it's like, I can't. There's nothing I can learn from you. You've done too much evil for me to study you in any fashion and try and extract any good from you, because it's just 99% evil.
Yeah.
And so Elon's pretty far down that line now.
Oh, okay, so he's moved on the spectrum for you quite a bit.
Yeah.
I think that we as humanity made a mistake by ever putting him on a pedestal and listening to what the fuck he thought about anything other than what he was technically good at.
Yeah.
That's my point. Stay in your fucking lane. Like
this, I think, was all definitely a negative externality of COVID. Like probably him isolating himself, and then crypto and... Yeah, I don't know. There was definitely a twist in there.
Well, the world's going crazy. Can we agree on that?
Yeah.
The world is more addicted, it's more mad, it's more insane than it's ever been.
Yeah.
And,
well, good pivot. Okay. So you put out a good post. It was like on your stories or something. I can't find it, but I found a couple quotes about Adam Grant. The post was about rest.
Yep.
And how important it is to... producing good quality work and just like living a happy fulfilled life. And it's something like I certainly struggle with, and probably anybody who runs a small business or runs an entrepreneur can relate to. I'll just read a couple quotes here. Adam Grant: resting is not a waste of time, it's an investment in well-being. Relaxing is not a sign of laziness, it's a source of energy. Breaks are not a distraction, they're a chance to refocus. And play is not a frivolous activity, it's a path to connection and creativity. And then another post here. In unhealthy cultures, people see rest as taking your foot off the gas pedal. You don't stop until you've pushed yourself to the brink of exhaustion. In healthy cultures, people see rest as a vital source of fuel. You take regular breaks to maintain energy and avoid burnout. So, I have the first one, agree 100% with. Can't find fault with it.
Which is that one? Repeat it.
Resting is not a waste of time. Relaxing is not a sign of laziness. Especially the last two. Breaks are not a distraction, and play is not frivolous activity. The second one, I guess there's a part of this that's open to interpretation, and it's where I get muddied out and get like naturally competitive to these type of things.
Okay.
What is rest?
That's a great question.
It's like if I'm unhealthy and like, how do I lose weight? Someone says, well, eat healthy food. What is healthy food?
That's it, right.
So like I don't know. Like what is rest? What is relaxing? How it's a word, so it's got a definition. So it's got to be a different state than, like working or being stressed out. Like how does one relax?
I think that in order for it to be like maximum, I don't want to make any brash. I think that there's definitely like you can take physical rest. Like I took time off.
Yeah.
But if that entire time you're anguishing mentally, that's not real rest.
Yeah.
So it's like, can you get physical and emotional and mental rest all at the same time? Where like, just to put it in the gnarly hustle terms, if I'm here working my ass off, then that's obviously not rest. If I'm at home and all I can think about are the things that I'm not doing here and the things that I should be doing here, the things that I could be doing here, or the negative outcome or what's not happening because I'm not here, then that's also not rest.
Yeah.
So you have to have the psychological safety to not be here and also feel good enough about not being here to not fucking think about it so that you can escape and be in other places. Because if you can't be in other places, how can you ever possibly, it's difficult. I just took a tea break, which in the weed world is called a tolerance break. It worked. It was great. I just ended it right before the show, just for the record. But I think breaks from anything are fucking good. Like It's idiotic, as we kind of petered on to last week when Snoop Dogg put out his fake announcement saying he was quitting weed.
Oh, it was fake?
It was fake. He was just promoting a smokeless fire pit.
Oh.
So it's a brilliant advertising campaign. But like, yeah, you need rest from everything, I think. And if you don't give yourself that, then like that thing that you're not taking rest from, the quality depletes. And eventually the ability to continue to not rest and do it becomes endangered by the lack of rest.
Yeah.
That's how I felt personally.
So that's unfortunately, one, I'm not good at taking rest. And two, I'm really good at realizing where the line is by looking back and being like, oh, there it was.
Yeah.
And so like I'm terrible at like identifying when the moment is appropriate to take rest, because like that's also something these quotes don't specify is when is it appropriate to take rest.
Yeah, we want an exact baking recipe to make the cake of rest, but like
because this is something I've been thinking about, and like Karen and I discussed, because it's something it's a skill I don't have. I'm very much like too past failure, I'm at peace. Sometimes I feel at peace restfully when I'm physically active.
Mm-hmm.
And I find it extremely difficult to physically rest and emotionally and psychologically rest.
Yeah.
And so like I have little let's say like we're not open on Sundays. So I'll sleep in, which is like 5:30 or 6, but from 6 to 10 I'm in the garden, and like I feel amazing after that. Like from 10 to 12 to 1 o'clock, going into football and stuff. Like I feel great. Not because I didn't physically rest. Like I was playing in the dirt, maybe moving dirt around, so like exerting myself, picking leaves, making, playing in the worm bin. I don't know, like just fucking plant shit. It's like that's like that's gardening is a rest that I've been able to. It's a hobby that I've been able to kind of create into something that doesn't stress me out, and I'm not like dependent on it succeeding or failing, but actively participating in it is really healthy for me. So but I'm terrible at the physical rest. Like as soon as I finish that,
do you find yourself like feeling like you think your body is worse off because you're not getting enough rest physically?
I don't know. I guess I feel physically pretty healthy.
How's your sleep? How many nights a week? Like how many hours are you sleeping a night, and like how much do you think that varies?
So it's pretty much on the dot, 6.5, and then 7.5 on Sundays.
And you feel okay about that, or do you think that could be?
Yeah, like it's not great. I would definitely rather wake up when I want to wake up.
I think a lot. I mean, you're younger too, right? Like, so I know in my 20s I could like. You could just push yourself harder than you can when you get older. Like, I now don't have to think about whether or not I'm not getting enough physical rest. It's abundantly fucking clear to me whether or not I'm getting enough physical rest. For you, it's harder to tell.
And I know, but I know that line. Like, days I don't get enough sleep, like, I know I can't. Like, I got to stop earlier today so I can go to bed early, because otherwise, like, the next day and the next 3 days, I'm going to, like, pay drive.
That's where I would focus for you, is it's not necessarily about, like, sitting on the couch for longer time. It's being asleep longer. You know what I mean? Because, like, I would just try to target that. And maybe try to find a day a week where you don't wake up if you don't want to. Yeah. Like, you wake up, or at least a month. Maybe try to get one Sunday a month where you wait. There isn't an alarm. There isn't a to-do that pulls you away.
And so Sundays have been great for that.
Good.
Like, I'll probably naturally wake up at 6:30. I can't really stay in bed.
I totally get that too.
I can't stay in bed.
When Jen frickin' bartends till 3 a.m, I'm still like wide awake, at fucking 7 or 7:15, whatever fucking time I normally. And I can't just sleep in extra because the time's there.
I guess like I'm having this realization now. It's like a guilty feeling. Like I'm uncomfortable with the amount of rest some people take, but I'm uncomfortable when I take the amount of rest some people take. And then I'm uncomfortable when, like, I work the amount that I want to work. I don't know. Like, it's weird.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know I don't have anything figured out.
Yeah. It's just something I'm focusing on. What is rest?
I think it's something to be mindful of, because if you're not mindful of it, as you just said, you can look back and like you crossed the line a million years ago and you weren't even paying attention, so you didn't even know there was a line to pay attention to.
Yeah.
Hopefully now you're at least awake to the fact that there is a line, and it's something that you should be mindful of, and maybe that'll help you tow it better. I don't know. I just know for me, like, to give you an example, like watching Squid Game is good for me. Like watching, I can. R. Lamar put something out that I remember, and I don't, R. Lamar's a good dude and stuff, but I don't find myself overly motivated by his black square white text posts very often.
Yeah.
But one of them that struck with me was like, creative people need time to do nothing. And it was like, one of the things we have to do around here is create a shit ton of marketing content. One of the things we have to do around here is be really fucking nice to people and spark conversation and have things to talk about. And it's hard to do that if you're not watching Netflix, if you're not reading books, watching movies, having conversations with other people, if you're constantly going to-do list, task to task to task, moving balls up hills, not taking breaks to live a social life or have any entertainment or stand around a fucking water cooler every once in a while and talk, then how can you make a conversation out of nothing? How can you be inspired to make a reel or make a post, or, it's, at least for me, it is difficult to put out and not intake. So like if I'm going to ask to put out art or to these things, or if I'm going to do it, which I want to do it, if I'm going to want to put out content, I need to like intake content that inspires me to do that.
Yeah.
Like nobody wrote a great song without fucking being inspired by great songs. And it's not that binary because we're not like making reels for a business. That's not the only thing we're doing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just, I think the weed analogy applies too, right? If all you are is high all the time, you can very quickly forget what it feels like to be sober.
Yeah.
And until you take the tolerance break, it's not fucking stark to you what the difference is. And there are a lot of people, whether it's caffeine, whatever it is in their life, it's the same thing. And if you are not resting, you forget the value of rest. And if you're not taking time to be inspired, you forget the value of inspiration.
Yeah, fair.
So, anyways, let's go to work because we got to open.
We got to open.
And we got 31% sales. People are going to be lining up outside.
I can hear them. We're breaking down the doors.
All right, see you guys soon.
Peace.